ruled out all odd numbers. We ruled out 0.
And pi.
Sonny?
What's it called? Not the pi, the infinite row, where it keeps going on. It's 3.3.
Those are harder,
Oh, really?
but still possible.
It's still
Yes.
Maybe 1.5 prime numbers.
Not prime numbers. Although it's harder to take their square roots. Yes. You got it.
Not a lot of fake numbers.
No. Sierra.
No, numbers that do not multiply to the number that's
Prime number.
to explain.
Okay, so I see where you're coming from. You could take the square root of 25 and you get 5, but the square root of 24 is gross, right? There's still a number there. So let me challenge you with this. Can you put a negative number into a square root?
Yes.
No.
So you can go negative 25.
You can't do negative 25. Why? Because you can't multiply some number times itself to get a negative, right? If you did 5 times negative 5 times negative 5, it still comes out as positive. So we cannot, until we get to pre-calculus, actually next year, we cannot have negatives in the square root, and then we'll change that. Yay.
If you did negative
So, but that's not the same thing. So you have to redefine what a square root is, which doesn't work. We'll just make up imaginary numbers. That's literally what happens. They're called imaginary. Yeah. No, they're just imaginary. Anyways, so whatever's under a square root, and if you're going to write anything in your notes, it's this. Ready? Ready? This is gold. Gold is dropping on your desk. Everything under a square root must be greater than or equal to 0. Because it can be 0 or it can be positive, but it cannot be negative. Did you write that? Write it. It's gold.
Wait, what is?
Right there. So, the way we're going to find the domain is this. Our domain is the real numbers, so x is in the real numbers, and 3 minus x has to be greater than or equal to 0. Now I'm going to solve that for x. If I add x to both sides, x is less than or equal to 3. So you have to solve that. That 3 minus x is greater than or equal to 0. You have to solve it for x. Calm down. All I did was add x to both sides. You guys got this. You want me to write it the other way? I'll write it the other way. 3 is greater than or equal to x. Okay? Stop being angry. You can add x to both sides. The world is not ending.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, well,
Okay.
I understand.
Now, let me ask this question. If you're only allowed to plug in 0 or positive numbers, what numbers can you get out of a square root? What's the lowest number you can get out? 0. And then, will you ever have negative numbers out? No. So for your square root problems, your range is always going to be, until we change it later, range goes with y. Range goes with range goes with range goes with range goes with y goes with
Range.
okay. So y is in the real numbers, and y, if you guys need to step out, step out. Okay, we're running 30 minutes on the lesson. It's supposed to take 15 minutes. So let's just get through it. Y is greater than or equal to 0. So for the range, y is going to be greater than or equal to 0. All right, one more example, and then we're done.
Oh, the graph one is longer.
Okay, we have, go wash your hands, both of you, go. You're missing out on valuable content. So do it
No,
quickly.
please.
Go, sorry. x. What are we not allowed to divide by?
Zero.
0.
Oh.
Yes?
Yeah.
So, what's our domain? X is in the real numbers, and x cannot equal 0. Why? Because the denominator of a fraction cannot equal 0. So you're going to write x cannot equal 0. What's the range?
Why?
Range has to do with y, so y is in the real numbers. For those of you who left us, you cannot divide by 0, so the denominator cannot equal 0. Okay. The numbers we get out of this, y is in the real numbers. What's the only number we can't get out? Yeah. 0. Why? Because 1 divided by a number will never equal 0. But it can equal everything else. Why? 1 divided by 2 is 1/2. 1 divided by 1/2 is 2, and so on. So, you have to like think these through a little bit. In this case, y cannot equal 0. Woo! These are tricky. Students still struggle in pre-calculus to understand them. They're not easy. I get it. But I want you guys to try your best. At least get the left half where you write domain is x is in the real numbers and range is y is in the real numbers.